In the infinite silence of space, there's one part of the moon that has remained a complete mystery to humanity, a hidden face forever turned away from Earth's gaze. But not anymore. China's Chang'e missions, often shrugged off as mere Apollo imitations, have just destroyed that perception and rewrote space history. And here's where it gets genuinely chilling. A Nobel Prize-winning scientist has came forward, not with speculations or conjecture, but with concrete, indisputable evidence retrieved from the moon's dark far side. Samples have been brought back, and their early findings are nothing short of scary. When for decades, we've thought of the moon as a mute remnant, a passive witness to Earth's birth. But now, it's looking more like a ticking cosmic time bomb, one crammed with odd geological anomalies, mysterious undiscovered elements, and energy reserves so potent they may decide which nation dominates the future. And yet, no one, absolutely no one, was ready for what those samples revealed. Because they prove something that scientists have silently feared for decades. There's something about the moon that just doesn't make up. While NASA was bogged down by politics and distracted by its Mars ambitions, China quietly pulled off something far more strategic, something game-changing. Through the Chang'e program, named after the Chinese moon goddess, they didn't just map the moon, they landed on it. They obtained samples, and most significantly, they conquered what no other nation even dared to attempt: the moon's far side, a region that never faces Earth, a place where radio transmissions can't even reach. And then came 2019. Chang'e 4 made history by becoming the first ever mission to land a rover on this alien, unexplored world. But make no mistake, this wasn't merely an engineering milestone, it was a declaration of intent. By placing a communications relay in a gravitational sweet spot beyond the moon, China set the stage for full-scale lunar exploration and control. And when the Yutu-2 rover began transmitting data back, the scientific community was rattled to its core. Because lying inside a crater was something bizarre, a glossy, greenish, gel-like material, unlike anything observed on the lunar surface previously. It reflected light in odd, unnatural ways and contradicted every geological expectation for that location. Scientists termed it impact melt breccia. But what really concerned them wasn't its composition. It was its freshness. It appeared like it had just formed. Much? But how? The far side of the moon isn't supposed to have radioactive heat elements. It should be dead, cold, and silent. Much? So how on Earth, or rather, how on the moon, did this strange substance appear so new? Months after the finding of that weird gel-like substance, the Yutu-2 rover made another mind-bending find, something even stranger than before. Scattered across the dusty, untouched surface were transparent glass-like spheres, not shards, not broken fragments, but perfectly round orbs, some as large as an inch in diameter, bigger and clearer than anything Apollo missions ever brought back. And here's the unsettling part. They weren't randomly strewn across the ground. These orbs were grouped in patterns, as if placed there on purpose, or sculpted by some force we still don't comprehend. The discovery of these spheres throws a kink into what we thought we knew about lunar impact mechanics. To generate anything this massive, smooth, and transparent, you'd need immense sustained heat, far more intense than any meteoroid collision could conceivably produce on the moon. Some experts, looking for rational explanations, argued that maybe ancient volcanic eruptions were responsible. But others? They whispered about darker, more unsettling possibilities, unknown energy sources, or even hidden systems buried deep beneath the lunar crust. What's undeniable is this: the moon's far side is not the lifeless, inert relic we assumed it was. It's active, it's unpredictable, and it may carry mysteries that could transform everything we know about space. And here's the issue that no one wants to confront but can't ignore. If nature didn't make these spheres, then who or what did? But the revelations didn't end on the surface. China's Chang'e missions pushed deeper, far deeper, into the moon's secrets. Their target? The South Pole Aitken Basin. This isn't just any crater. It's one of the largest and oldest impact sites in the entire solar system. Formed by a colossal asteroid strike billions of years ago, the sheer violence of the impact may have fractured the lunar crust itself, exposing raw material from the moon's hidden mantle. When the Chang'e 6 mission returned samples from this mysterious region in 2024, what they found upended decades of lunar science. Inside those samples were minerals like low calcium pyroxene and olivine, direct proof of material from the moon's deep interior. But here's where it gets unsettling. Their composition didn't match any of our existing models. The elemental ratios were all wrong, completely different from what geologists expected based on the widely accepted theory of how the moon formed. This forces a chilling conclusion. Either our entire model of the moon's history is flawed, or something unknown has altered these materials. And if that's true, the implications are terrifying, because if we can't explain the moon's origins, then our understanding of Earth's own early history is built on a shaky foundation. Everything we thought we knew about the birth of our world is suddenly on trial. Hidden within one of the newly discovered minerals, chungasite, scientists found something that might essentially rewrite the future of human civilization: mad helium-3. Mad helium-3 is almost non-existent on Earth, but on the moon, it's shockingly abundant. And here's why this matters. Helium-3 is considered the holy grail of sustainable energy. In theory, it can power nuclear fusion reactors without the lethal radioactive waste we worry today. To put this in context, just 1 ton of helium-3 could power an entire country for an entire year. That's how game-changing it is. China's Chang'e 5 mission didn't just hypothesize about it, they confirmed its presence. They brought back samples where helium-3 atoms were quantifiable and extractable. Now, harvesting it wouldn't be easy. Mining helium-3 would require massive infrastructure, processing literal tons of lunar soil, regolith, just to get a small amount. But here's the thing, China is already preparing for that reality. Their projected International Lunar Research Station, set to be ready before 2035, isn't simply a scientific outpost. It's being developed with the possibility for full-scale resource exploitation. And this changes everything. Because we're no longer looking at a space race. This is an energy war, a high-stakes geopolitical chess match playing out on the surface of the moon. Whoever masters helium-3 mining could control the energy supply of the next century and possibly dominate global power structures. And while the West is still busy discussing timeframes and budgets, China is quietly building the future. When the Chang'e 6 samples were quietly distributed among a panel of international experts, one name on the list immediately drew global attention: Dr. Samuel Reiner, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist and one of the most trusted authorities in planetary geochemistry. Reiner's involvement was enough to signal that something big was brewing. After weeks of behind-the-scenes analysis, Reiner broke all protocol with a statement so shocking that it sent shockwaves through the scientific world. He spoke at a closed-door forum in Geneva, and thanks to leaked transcripts, we now know what he said. His words? "If these mineral patterns are accurate, then we are no longer examining a naturally evolving satellite. We're looking at geological coding, processes arranged with precision, not chaos." Mocked. Reiner went even further, pointing out that the crystalline alignments in some of these minerals didn't look random at all. They appeared to be layered, almost engineered. He drew chilling parallels to synthetic nanostructures on Earth, like those used in semiconductors and advanced metamaterials. In simpler terms, he suggested something almost unthinkable: the moon's interior may not be entirely natural. And when that claim comes from a man who once led groundbreaking research at CERN, you know it's not wild speculation. This is why scientists across the globe are now whispering. If parts of the moon's interior show signs of intentional design, then we're not studying geology anymore. We're staring straight at something that looks like construction. Among the least publicized instruments aboard Chang'e 6 was something quietly revolutionary: a low-frequency, ground-penetrating radar designed to scan the moon's subsurface up to 100 meters deep. When the radar data was published in an obscure Chinese academic journal, few expected it to reveal anything shocking. But what researchers found? They weren't ready to explain. The radar picked up layers beneath the lunar regolith that reflected signals with eerie precision, almost as if polished surfaces were buried down there. In a natural celestial body, radar signals should scatter unpredictably. But here, the returns showed perfect symmetry, clean parallels, and intervals so uniform they looked engineered. Even stranger, some of the data suggested the presence of cavities, hollow spaces deep under the surface, with no natural explanation. And then the internet caught wind of it. Speculation exploded. Buried tunnels, ice chambers, or something far more alien: actual structures? Official reports, of course, dismissed these theories, but the raw, unfiltered data remains out there, and independent analysts are starting to notice something even more bizarre. Every 12 hours, like clockwork, a low-frequency resonance spikes near these reflective zones. It's faint, so faint that it would be easy to miss, but it's repeating, like a heartbeat. And as one Chinese researcher, speaking anonymously, put it, Sometimes it's the regularity of a signal that makes it the most unnatural thing of all. You'd expect NASA, ESA, or perhaps JAXA to handle these issues immediately, right? However, nothing has happened since the Chang'e 6 samples were returned. No press briefings. There are no peer-reviewed partnerships, no public acknowledgement, just silence. And with each passing month, the silence becomes heavier, louder. According to insider leaks, NASA memos tell lunar experts to refrain from publicizing the Chang'e anomalies until new international agreements are established. What is the translation? Do not talk, do not speculate, not yet. Not until the West learns how to catch up. China is disseminating carefully selected data in state-run journals, restricting international access to raw materials, and developing infrastructure for long-term supremacy on the lunar surface. No Western agency has acknowledged Dr. Reiner's terrifying warning, and that's when a darker realization dawns. This is more than just a scientific disruption. It is politically volatile. We no longer live in the era of open discovery. We have entered a new era of competition. China's agenda appears to be much deeper. If the moon contains unknown materials of potentially non-natural origin in addition to helium-3 and minerals, controlling those regions goes beyond mining. The focus is on power, including technological, geopolitical, and potentially existential aspects. If what's buried beneath the far side of the moon is unnatural, or worse, intelligent in origin, the stakes are nearly beyond human comprehension. This is more than just a competition to arrive first. This is about who has the truth, who decides what the world knows, and what remains buried. For decades, mankind peered at the moon and saw nothing more than a cold, dead stone, a quiet relic of Earth's cataclysmic beginnings. But what if we were wrong all along? What if that silence was never emptiness, but secrecy? A curtain purposefully obscuring something too advanced, too alien, or too powerful for us to comprehend. Because China's recent discoveries didn't just bring back lunar rocks, they uncovered a reality many believed would stay buried. A Nobel Prize-winning scientist, one of the greatest brains of our generation, has broken ranks, warning that what lies beneath the far side of the moon may not be natural, and may not be benign. Perfect glass-like spheres, too accurate to be random. Strange resonances, pulsing like a heartbeat every 12 hours. Geological structures that don't disperse, but reflect, align, and hum with symmetry. Not with chaos, but with design. And if even a fraction of this is true, we stand on the brink of a cosmic revelation, one that doesn't just challenge what we know about the moon, it shatters our understanding of who we are, where we come from, and whether we're truly alone in this solar system. If this shakes you, don't let it evaporate into the silence they seek. Subscribe, because the realities they're hiding won't wait forever. Manchan, drop your ideas below. What do you believe is buried beneath the far side of the moon? Share this video, not for clicks, not for views, but because this could be the only way the truth spreads. Because this isn't science fiction anymore. This is real. And for the first time in human history, the moon has spoken.